Hello everyone, my name is Stonesy Boy, and today is the final chapter of Fazbear Fright, Into the Pit, To Be Beautiful. This is the final chapter. We last left off with Sarah, there, my light's on now. We last left off with Sarah meeting all of her friends, and them all talking, and she doing some weird things and all that. She was just setting up a date with Marco Dramalik or whatever it's called. Oh, and if you hear this sound, if you hear just me chewing on something like this, gosh, I got some ice cream back here, a bunch of cups that are supposed to go to the bathroom, or a bunch of cups that are supposed to go to my recyclable. My kitty cat has now moved and is now back asleep. I just got done defeating Night 4 in Five Nights at Freddy's. So if you hear something in the recording go doo 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 doo, that's my recording system telling me it is done, my father. And then I will go, good job, son. But when she walked through we are reading on page 121. And it's where it says, but when she walked through the doorway of the Pizza Palazzo. Pause now. Okay, great. But when she walked through the doorway of Pizza Palazzo, she saw Mason waiting for her in the front of the hostess station. She immediately felt more at ease. She stood up and flashed his gorgeous smile. Hi. You look great, he said. Thanks. She didn't think turquoise top she'd chosen went well with her eyes. You do too. She was dressed casually with a hoodie and a t-shirt for some video game, but he would look great in anything. After they got settled at another red leather booth with matching checked tablecloths, Mason picked up a menu and said, "So what kind of pizza person are you? Thin crust, thick crust, any favorite toppings?" "I'm a flexible pizza person," Sarah said, despite her earlier nervousness. She was actually starting to feel hungry. I pretty much just like pizza in general, except for one thing. No pineapple on pizza, ever. Agreed, Mason said, laughing. Pineapple on pizza is an abomination. It should be illegal. Depends. My personal favorite, if it's pineapple on pizza, it has to have ham. That's the only way I'm eating pineapple on pizza. I'm glad we agree on that, Sarah said. But if we hadn't, I probably would have just walked out of here and abandoned you. And I totally would have deserved it, Mason said. People who eat pineapple on pizza deserve to be alone. Sheesh. I do deserve to be alone. I'm a horrible person and a human being to others, but sheesh, come on now. They agreed on a thin crust pepperoni and mushroom pizza. They chatted comfortably about their families and their hobbies as they ate. Mason had a lot of interests, and Sarah realized she probably didn't have enough of them. Before Eleanor, she had spent too much of her free time worrying about her appearance. How that problem was solved, she needed to branch out a little and listen to more music, read more books, maybe take up yoga or swimming. As a little kid, Sarah loved swimming, but when she hit middle school, she was too self-conscious to let anyone see her in her swimsuit. By the time she and Mason walked next door to the movie theater, Sarah felt like they were getting to know each other pretty well. He wasn't just cute, he was nice and funny too. And in the dark theater, when he reached over and put her hand on his, it was the most perfect moment of the perfect night. When she got back home and putting on her nightgown, Eleanor quietly strode up behind her and put her hand on her shoulder. Sarah was startled but quickly recovered. "Hi, Eleanor," she said. "Hello, Sarah." "Hello, Sarah. How was your date?" she asked. Sarah felt a little smile spreading on her face from thinking about it. It was great," she said. He's gorgeous. He's gorgeous, but also really like him as a person, you know? He asked me if I wanted to go to the basketball game with him next week. I'm not interested in basketball, but I'm definitely interested in him, so I'll go. Eleanor laughed her tiny giggle. So tonight was it everything you hoped it would be? Sarah smiled at her robotic friend. It was even better. I'm happy you're happy, Eleanor said, then moved back into her spot in the corner. Good night, Sarah. In the morning, Sarah found her mom in the laundry room. Can you drive me to the mall to meet my friends this afternoon? She asked. Mom looked up, unloading the dryer, and smiled. You're quite a social butterfly this weekend. What time are you supposed to meet them? She folded a towel and set it on the laundry basket. They just said in the afternoon, Sarah said. That's pretty vague, isn't it? Mom said, folding another towel. I don't know. The way they said it, it kind of felt like I just should know when they met. She was so shocked to be accepted, even on a trial period, by the beautifuls that she was afraid to ask questions. Your new friends expect you to be psychic? Mom said. You don't like my new friends, do you? Sarah said. I don't know your new friends, Sarah. I know they were girls who wouldn't give you the time of day before, and now they're suddenly inviting you to hang out with them. Kind of strange. I mean, what's changed? I've changed, Sarah thought. Just look at me. But she said, maybe they finally just decided I'm a likable person. Yeah, but what took them so long? Mom said. You know what friends of yours I like? Abby. She's smart and she's kind. She's straightforward. You'd always know where to stand with a person like Abby. Sarah didn't want to tell her mom that she and Abby weren't speaking to each other currently, so instead she said, 2 o'clock? How about you take me to the mall at 2 o'clock? Okay. Mom tossed a towel at her. Now help me fold. Once Sarah got dropped at the mall, she realized that Lydia hadn't said anything about where to meet them either. The mall wasn't that large, but it was big enough to turn searching for them into a fairly difficult game of hide and seek. She could text Lydia, she supposed, but it felt kind of like an order to be accepted by in the group. She had to figure out the way they did things without making nuisance of herself. If she was only accepted into the group on a trial period, she couldn't want to make any missteps. One false move, she could be back eating lunch at the loser table, which is such a sad thing. I mean, abandoning your friends and sitting at the loser table. Thank goodness we don't actually live by that rule today. Just sit wherever the freak we want. If you have a school that is like that, I'm terribly sorry that you live in a school that's that strict. After a few moments of thought, she decided to head to Diller's, the mall's most expensive department store. The beautifuls definitely wouldn't be hanging out somewhere cheap. Her intuition was good. She found them in front of the store with cosmetics section, trying on lipsticks. Sarah, you made it, Linda said, giving her crimson-lipped smile. As soon as Lydia smiled at her, the other girl smiled too. Hi, Sarah said, smiling back. But she already made it. She had already made it, hadn't she? And not just to the mall. She had great looks, a gorgeous, nice boyfriend, and a friendship with the beautiful girls in school. She never predicted that her life would be this good. Ooh, Sarah, try on this lipstick, Jillian said, holding on a golden tube. It's pink with sparkles. It's pink with sparkles. It would look perfect with your skin tone. Sarah took the tube, leaned over the makeup counter mirror, and smoothed it on the lipstick. It was really pretty on her. It matched the rosy nail polish that never seemed to fade from her fingers to toes. Looks like a lipstick a princess would wear, she said, studying her. See, you heard that? That was my editing software finally being done. Studying her reflection with pleasure. So FNAF Night 4 is already done editing, so that's good. It really does. It really does. Tabithia says. I don't know how to say that name. T says, opening up the tube of different color. Her Royal Highness Princess Sarah. You should totally get it, Lydia said, looking at her approvingly. Sarah tried to stubbornly check the price of the lipstick packaging. $40. She hopped in shock, didn't know that was more than she'd paid for her outfit that she was wearing, but then she probably couldn't buy lipstick in a thrift store. I'll think about it, she said. Go on, Emma said. Treat yourself. I want to browse around a little more first, Sarah said, since I just got here. She didn't want to admit that the only money she had in her purse was enough to cover a frozen yogurt and a soda. The beautifuls, however, bought lipstick and eyeshadows and blush and brow pencils, whipping out wads of cash for or their parents' credit cards. Spoiled kids. You see them more often than you think. Prom's just around the corner. Isn't that for juniors and seniors? Sarah asked. It's for juniors, seniors, and their dates, Lydia said. So if you can find a junior or senior to take you, it's just around the corner, she nudged Sarah. Too bad Mason's not older. Yeah, Sarah said, but she didn't mean it. She liked Mason's age because he was. Besides, she wasn't sure she was ready to date an older guy. The dresses were beautiful. They were the color of jewels, amethyst, sapphire, ruby, emerald, and some were sparkly. Others were satin smooth and shiny, and the others were translucent with lace and tulle. They took turns trying on dresses and modeling them in front of the mirror and taking pictures of one another with their phones. After half an hour of watching them, sour expression on her face, Felicity came over and asked, "Were you girls actually interested in buying anything, or just playing dress up?" And they ditched the dresses and fled the formal wear department, giggling. I don't think that Felicity liked you much. I don't think that Felicity liked you much, Jillian said, as they walked out of the store. Who cares? Lydia said, laughing. She doesn't even get to judge me. She just works on the store. She makes minimum wage if she's lucky. I bet she can't even afford to buy the clothes she sells. They went for the food court and ate frozen yogurts and laughed about how naughty they've been. Do you girls intend to buy anything, or are you just playing dress up? Lydia said over and over, mimicking the sales lady. They all laughed, and Sarah laughed right along with them, even though she thought they might have been a little hard on the sales lady, who was just trying to do her job. Jillian and Emma had left the dresses they tried on in crumpled piles in the dressing room floor. Now the Felicity probably had to clean up after them. But who was she to criticize the beautifuls? It was an honor they invited her out with them. It was a glamorous, exciting, like she was a guest of a reality TV show. No matter what they said or did, she was happy just to be included. Yesterday, her date with Mason was perfect. And now she got out with the beautifuls. How could she ever express her gratitude to Eleanor? Nothing she could say would ever be enough. That night when Eleanor sprang to life, Sarah jumped up and hugged the robot's hard little body. Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you for the perfect weekend. You're welcome, Sarah. Eleanor hugged her back, and as always, the sensation was odd. There was no softness in her hug. It's the least I could do. You've given me so much. It's the least I could do. You've given me so much. Sarah settled down happily to sleep, but her rest was disturbed by a strange dream. She was on a date with Mason, sitting in the movie theater, when she reached over to hold his hand. It's not his hand she grasped, but Eleanor's. Tiny, white, metallic, cold. The same hand she grabbed to pull the robot girl out of the car trunk. But she turned to look at Mason to see next to her. She had changed to Eleanor. Eleanor smiled, revealing a mouthful of sharp teeth. Okay, I'm going to stop it here, because I only got to read 16 pages, and I'm going to stop at the 8th one. You know, it's every 10, but this time it's every 8, because I only got 16, so cut that in half, that's an 8. So let's talk about that. So, Eleanor. It goes with my first theory I ever had on Eleanor, where all she needs is, like, DNA and all that, and over time she'll turn into Eleanor. I think this night is the final night that she's dreaming of. Or the night after. But what I'm gonna say is Sarah is not gonna be in the land of the living anymore. I got something right now. Let me tell you about a little friend named Sarah. She started looking ugly thugly, nothing good about her. Her name was Mrs. Mix and Match, and she wasn't cool. She wasn't even pretty, even for school. Everyone disliked her except her best friend Abby. She was neat. She was nice and kind as pretty, yes. The nicest you can be. She was walking back home one day when she saw a doll in the back of a car in the junkyard. It was pretty whack. She cleaned it off and brought it home. Cleaned it off some more. Slitch got the switch. And her name was Eleanor. And Eleanor gave her a couple wishes, oh yeah. And if you knew what the wishes were, you would be surprised. The wishes were, if you wanted to be beautiful, my bride, wear this necklace and go to sleep. I'll sing you a lullaby. And the lullaby went. And the lullaby went. If I can ever find the page, I'll sing it to you today. But you know, I'll probably not. But I found the page. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, my sweet Sarah. When you wake, all your dreams will come true. And it did for a while, and now Sarah's a beaut. She walked the hallways with everyone batting an eye. She was looking, well, as the guys say, mighty fine, and everyone looked at her like thinking she was pretty cute. Even Mason Belmore, the one she had a crush on since she was a little root. I know I said a root. Be quiet, please, oh goodness. But don't worry about that. That was all just business. On Saturday, she and him went on a nice little date to a movie theater and some pizza with mushroom and some steak. Not some steak, but some pizza. Everyone knows it's pretty nice to meet you. You know it's cool. Everyone's in school. Not anymore because of coronavirus rules. She went back home one night with Eleanor right there, in a corner, sitting down lifeless in her little chair. She went to sleep that night, had a dream about Mason's date, except she now has sharp teeth, and she's gonna die by being 8. So that was all made up on the spot. I'm not joking with you, and I'll probably make that into a song if I ever remember. Actually, I'll write that down right now. 16 dot dot 00 to 18 dot dot 10. And then music. If I remember the words, then I'll make that into an actual song about this so far. It was all made up on the spot, so, you know, glossy to me. And she changed into Eleanor. Eleanor smiled, revealing a mouthful of sharp teeth. In the dream, Sarah screamed. She opened her eyes to find Eleanor standing over her bed, her head lowered, staring at her with her blank green eyes. Sarah gasped. Did I make a noise in my sleep? No, Sarah. Sarah looked at Eleanor, who was standing so close to the bed that she was touching it. Then what are you doing standing over my bed? Didn't you know, Sarah? Eleanor said, reaching out with a brush back of Sarah's hair. I do this every night. I watch over you and I keep you safe. Maybe it was just because of the dream, but some reason Sarah did not feel like letting Eleanor touch her. Safe from what? Sarah said. Safe from danger. Any danger. I want to protect you, Sarah. Okay, thanks, I guess. She appreciated Eleanor's concern, appreciated everything Eleanor has done for her, but still, it was creepy for someone to watch you when you didn't know you were being watched, even if they were doing it for the best of the intentions. I can't stand by the door if it makes you more comfortable, Sarah, Eleanor said. Yeah, that would be great. Sarah was pretty sure she couldn't fall back to sleep with Eleanor standing right over her like that. Eleanor strolled over to the door and stood guard there. "Good night, Sarah. Sleep well." "Good night, Eleanor." Sarah didn't sleep well. She didn't know what, but something was wrong. In the cafeteria, Sarah stood in line with the other beautifuls as they waited in their empty trays. Lydia texted the night before saying that they'd all be wearing skinny jeans today, so Sarah was wearing hers too. She bought the jeans and a few tops and a couple of pairs of cute shoes. When her mom had taken her shopping the other week, they'd also bought a few bras that did her new figure justice. "Can you believe what she's wearing? She dresses like a preschooler," Lydia said. "Like a preschooler from a poor family," Tibia added. With horror, Sarah realized the girls were criticizing was Abby, who was emptying her tray ahead of them. True, Abby was wearing pink overalls, so the preschooler comment wasn't so far off the mark, but it didn't seem mean to reduce somebody's whole value as a person with the clothes she wore. "That's Abby," Sarah heard herself saying. "She's really nice. She's been my friend since kindergarten." She almost found herself saying best friend, but she stopped herself in time. "Yeah," Lydia said, laughing. "But you've bought new clothes since kindergarten." She hasn't. Beautiful start all laughed too. Sarah tried to smile, but she couldn't quite manage it. It's when Sarah's turn to dump her tray and she stepped on something slippery near the trash can. New shoes were cute, but they didn't have much traction. The fall felt like it took forever, but it was only a matter of seconds. She was flat on the floor, back right on the in front of the whole school. "Sarah, that was hilarious," Lydia said. "What a klutz." She doubled over laughing. All the beautifuls were laughing along with her, saying, Did you see her go down and she hit the floor like a ton of bricks?" And, "How embarrassing." As day state, she couldn't really tell which girl was saying what. Her voices sounded distant and disordered, almost as if Sarah was trying to hear them underwater. Sarah tried to pull herself up, but something strange was happening to her body. She felt a weird clashing, clanging sounds. Couldn't figure out where they were coming from. Did they make any sense? But they felt like they were coming from inside her. Uh-oh. She was shaking and jerking, and she couldn't make her body move the way she usually did. Her body was no longer under her control. She was scared. Had she hurt herself badly? Could somebody call her mom? Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance? Why were her new friends not helping her? They were still laughing, still joking about how stupid she looked and how funny it was. And then Beautiful's laughter was replaced by screams. As if from great distance, Sarah heard Lydia saying, "What happened to her? I don't understand." "I don't know," one of the other girls said. "Somebody needs to do something." "Get a teacher, quick," another one said. Terrible thought occurred to Sarah. She put her hand to her throat. The necklace Eleanor gave her, the necklace that she was never ever taken off, was gone. She must have knocked it off during the fall. She turned her head and saw it on the floor, just a little more than arm's length away. She tried to get it back. Her hand reached down to help her. Sarah looked up to see that it belonged to Abby. She took it and allowed herself to be pulled up in an awkward standing position. When Sarah looked down at her body, she saw the reasons for the girl's screams. Her body was changing from the waist down, no longer like a flesh and blood girl, but jumbled collection of gears and bicycle spokes, hubcaps, rusted metal odds and ends, cast off useless parts and belonging to the wrecking yard. She locked eyes with Abby, saw her friend's horror what she was and had become. I've got to go," Sarah said. Her voice sounded different, metallic and harsh. Abby held out a necklace. "You dropped this," she said, tears sparkling in her eyes. "Thank you, Abby. You're a good friend," Sarah said, but didn't say anything to the beautifuls, who had all backed away from her, whispering among themselves. Sarah grabbed a pendant and ran as fast as Sandwing makeshift metal legs could carry her out to the cafeteria into the school, out of the school. Home. She had to get home. Eleanor would know what to do. Would know how to help her. Sarah was still changing. Her torso was hardening, and she ran making squeaking noises like the floor hinges needed oiling. She tried to fasten a necklace off and around her neck again, but her fingers were growing too stiff to manage the clasp. As she hurried down the sidewalk with clattering stubborn gait, people stopped and stared at her. Drivers slowed down the cars to gawk. People didn't look pathetic or even just confused. They looked scared. She was a monster, like something had been created by a mad scientist in a lab, like a murderer in a human soul. That's not in the book. I just want to say that. It was only a matter of time until villagers started chasing her with pitchforks and torches. She felt like crying, but apparently some type of thing was stopping that, making that incapable of producing tears. Maybe tears would make her rust even worse. Her joints were getting stiffer and stiffer, and it was growing harder and harder to run. But she had to get home. Eleanor was the only one who could help her. Finally, after so it seemed like hours, she reached her house. Somehow she managed to work the key in the door. She clinked and clanged the living room down hall, calling, "Eleanor! Eleanor!" Her voice was terrible metallic scraping. Eleanor was not in her usual corner of Sarah's room. Sarah searched the closet, looked under the bed, opened the chest and the foot of the bed. No Eleanor. Sarah clomped through the house, searching her mom's room, the bathroom, the kitchen, all the time yelling Eleanor's name. New horrible voice. The garage is the only place she hadn't looked. She used the kitchen efforts, but doorknobs were getting difficult to manage. Finally, after the new desperate minutes of fiddling, she was in a darkened garage. "Eleanor," she called again. Her jaw was stiff and was getting harder to form words. Eleanor's name came out as Edna. Maybe the robot girl was hiding from her on purpose. Maybe some kind of joke or game. She looked at the ceiling-high storage cabinet against the back of the garage. Seemed like a good hiding place, but some difficulty she grabbed the handle of the cabinet and pulled. It's an avalanche. Clear plastic bags holding different objects, different weight sizes toppled out of the cabinet and fell onto the floor with dull, sickening thud. Sarah looked at the floor as if at first her brain couldn't even process what she saw. One bag contained a human leg, another a human arm. They were not body parts of an adult. They appeared to be the result of an accident. Blood pooled at the bottom of the bags, but as the limbs served neatly as a surgical amputation. Another bag, stuffed with bloody, snake-like entrails, appeared to be a liver, slid from the cabinet shelf and landed on the floor with a wet splat. Why were there body parts in her garage, Sarah? Didn't you fully understand how a small bag like that held familiar-looking, potato-shaped nose? She screamed, but sound came out was a squealing of car brakes. Behind her came metallic, tinkling, laughing. Sarah's lower body was almost immobile, but she dragged herself around to face Eleanor. "I made your wish come true, Sarah," the pretty robot said with another metallic giggle. "And in return," Sarah noticed something I'd never seen it on Eleanor before. A heart-shaped button just below Eleanor's throat, with the double of Sarah's heart-shaped pendant. Eleanor laughed again, then pushed the heart-shaped button. She jerked and shook, and so violently softened her silver fish, turning into a punkish shade of Caucasian skin. In a matter of moments, she was a dead ringer for Sarah. She was a spy main, and was immediately killed by a pyro 40 seconds later. Wrong dead ringer? Sorry. Dead ringer for Sarah. The old Sarah. The real Sarah. The Sarah who was looking back on it. Hadn't been bad looking after all. The Sarah who spent way too much time worrying about her appearance. Abby had been right. She had been right about a lot of things. Eleanor pulled on an old pair of Sarah's jeans, one of her sweaters, and her tennis shoes. "Well, you certainly made my wishes come true." "Well, you certainly made my wishes come true," Eleanor said, smiling with Sarah's old smile. She pushed a button that opened the garage door. Sunlight flooded in the room. Sarah gave a little wave, then skipped out to the sunshine down the sidewalks. Sarah's ears filled with deafening clinking, clanking. She couldn't control her movements. Different rusted metal parts disconnected from her fell clattering to the floor. She was falling apart, collapsing into an ugly trash heap, a hideous, useless collection of garbage to be thrown away and forgotten. An old mirror propped up against the garage wall. She saw herself. No longer pretty girl, or a girl at all. She didn't resemble a human of any kind. She was nothing but a rusty, dirty pile of junk. She felt sad, then she felt scared, then she felt nothing at all. Wow. That was dark. But that does go with my theory of Sarah slowly but surely turning into a monster. It actually 100% goes into my theory. But this also opens a new door. I saw Matt Pat's video recently. not recent, it was actually like a month ago, where he said that if we can find as many ways as possible that there's a way you could be turned into an animatronic. Now there's a new one, turning into a robot by necklace or by some type of haunting of some sort. There's also another way of, so that's a new way of holding a soul. So, that's just nice information to have. But this goes into a theory of Sarah slowly but surely getting her human essence taken away from her. But I did not think about the fact that the essence being taken away from her could just be her having new body parts, which actually adds to the question, what's going to be the school's reaction when they see Abby? What's Abby's reaction going to be when, Sarah or Eleanor walked in there and be like, hey, I'm not a robot anymore. Why do you have your new old body? I ate like 50 donuts after becoming a robot. It was just a prank that I turned my beautiful self into a robot so I could skip a couple days of school. No one's just gonna go, "Oh, that was pretty smart of you." Cause think about it. Well, actually, that would work in a way, but that's the end of To Be Beautiful. This is the longest chapter run in this entire book, I believe. Yeah, Into the Fright I had only 3. Freaking To Be Beautiful had 4, and now Count the Ways is going to be the next one. We'll have 3 again, so this will be a lot more easier. Wow, I really read 140 pages technically. No, not even close. Well, I'm about there. That's insane of a thought because I never read. But yeah, I'm soon gonna order more books so I can read them more to you guys. But we have only 3 more episodes left until we finish this book. But that's sadly the end of Sarah's tale, and it's sad to see her go, but love to see her walk away. Good final episode for this one. We got a song out of it, a good ending. It was weird how this one went, to be honest. I was just sitting there the entire time thinking, oh yeah, by the way, you can just stop watching this. I'm not going to read any more of the book, because I'm not that mean. So you can just skip the end of this. I'm just going to be talking at this point. So when I first read the first and second, I thought it was like, I was even telling others that loved reading this type of stuff, like my man, Maxi Boy. He loves watching these videos and listening to me read them. I told him it's a waste of time to watch the first one, because the first one's just me talking about, like, how she didn't look good. But now it makes fully sense. So if he didn't watch the first one, I'll tell him to watch it again, watch it over before watching the final one. So, that's nice. So I hope you guys have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient, don't die to the coronavirus. If I can figure out a way to convert the thing I made into a song, I will do it. So, KK Stonesy is going to be back, baby. And I don't know what I'm going to call it. It's probably going to be called, like, Eleanor's Story, but written as a song. I'll have to change some lyrics to it. But, don't worry about that part. Besides from that, have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Subscribe and like the video. I haven't said that in a while. Just subscribe and like to the video. Don't die to coronavirus. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Womp.